That was such a great way to start the meeting, and a huge thank you again to Overdrive for sponsoring, Cynthia. We truly thank you so much for making that possible. It was really a gift. So I've got the agenda up for the rest of the meeting. We're going to go over some introductions of the project manager, the project management team, both on the Will side and the Overdrive side. Review the board members and the selection advisory committee members, and then we're going to take a look back at crazy 2020 with some mind-blowing stats. And then we'll be looking ahead to some updates that are coming both from the WSDLC and from Overdrive. And then we're going to take a look at just a few of the survey highlights from the annual member survey that just closed. And then we have to actually do some business, which is reviewing the operational guidelines for the board and then voting to accept that. And then we'll have time for a Q&A. So we have an amazing team of both Will staff and Overdrive staff. And I'm just going to run through here. Many of these people are on the call, and I know you can't see me pointing, but on the Will side, I am the project manager. I'm on the top left next to the logo. And then I've got my colleague, Sarah Burkholtz, who does all of the heavy lifting, setting up all of the members, and I'm sure that you've probably talked with her at some point or many times throughout your setup process. And then we've got Rebecca Rosensteel, who's also a member, or I'm sorry, a colleague of mine who keeps up the WSDLC website, which really is the heart of the consortium. And then we've got Jen Chamberlain, who is the director of Wills, and she is also one of the sitting partners. Below Jen, we've got Lisa Martin, who handles all of the invoicing and the accounts reconciliation of the consortium. And then below Lisa to the left, we've got Amanda Lawman, who does all of the authentication for new account setup. And then we've got Edwin Tucker, who is our content person. So you've probably talked to Edwin or seen him on Overdrive webinars before. Next to Edwin, we've got Beth Saxton, who is the on-staff librarian for Overdrive, and she also helps with collection development. She's an absolute wealth of information, and she was the person that started the ball rolling for to get Cynthia as a speaker. So thank you, Beth. And then finally, we have Connie Bowman, and probably everybody on this call has talked to Connie before. She really is just such a wonderful advocate, not only for Overdrive and for the WSDLC, but also such a great partner to Wills. And I can't emphasize enough that we really do function as one cohesive unit. And this has been especially true when we've nearly doubled in membership over the last year. So WSDLC is a joint effort of the Wisconsin Department of Instruction, CISA Purchasing, and Wills. And WSDLC is governed by a board of members of the consortium and representatives from the partners, which include CISA Purchasing, also the CISA statewide network, which I believe is not on here, the Department of Instruction and Wills. And the consortium members either represent a specific CISA geographic area or are at large representatives. And we currently have 15 CISA board reps. And I should note too that 2018 was the first full year for the WSDLC, which launched in January of 2018. So this is actually our third annual meeting. So here is a list of the current board members along with their school districts, the CISA that they represent, and their term, how long when their term is up, excuse me. You can see that we've got a vacancy in, I think that might be covered, but a vacancy in CISA 12 currently. And Jennifer Peterson from the Menasha Joint School District serves as the board chair. All of this information is on the website. I believe that Sarah is sharing a link to this in the Q&A. Then here are the list of the WSDLC board partners. We have a voting representative from each of the partners, and then a non-voting representative in some of the cases. And then we've got the Selection Advisory Committee, which is an appointed committee, and it recommends the scope and the direction of the collections included in the WSDLC. They advise the project manager and vendors on operational collection decisions, including content to be included, budget allocations that are as directed by both the board and the WSDLC collection policy. In non-pandemic times, they meet 3 times a year. And again, collection development policy and more information on the committee and the board can be found on the WSDLC website. Okay, so now we are going to take a look back at 2020, and really the most appropriate title for this section is "It's Crazy How Fast This Thing is Growing," because it really grew quickly, as you will see. So the growth of the WSDLC was impressive pre-pandemic, doubling districts in, or nearly doubling districts in between 2018 and 2019, but the school closings really skyrocketed the enrollments. And currently the WSDLC has 206 districts. So quite a change even from September 2020. Here you can see this chart illustrates the peaks and valleys of new users, and you can see how it follows the school term in terms of, or the school year in terms of usage. There was a tremendous increase in new users this September, which also corresponds with the new WSDLC membership year. The membership, as you probably know, runs September through August, and members can join at any time, but they will be prorated to renew in September. And then here you can see the explosion of checkouts that happened this September when the WSDLC started. It experienced a growth of new members, but it really was slow getting usage. The media specialists really have been the driving force in terms of usage up until I would say early 2020. But many teachers had not yet embraced the collections. They either weren't aware of it or they didn't see the need. But this changed dramatically once school started virtually for many districts in Wisconsin. And then, of course, with increased usage comes increased holds, as you can see here. And we have a lot of feedback from the survey about how more titles are needed. So we do appreciate that feedback. We've actually had to adjust we use holds managers carts, meaning when there are holds on particular titles, they automatically go into a cart in the marketplace that Overdrive has. We used to be able to order per copy based on holds, but we had to switch to a holds ratio during the busy time. I do want to give a shout out to the Wisconsin Department of Instruction, who gave the WSDLC 45,000 additional dollars in the LSTA funding, which was so helpful to sort of bridge the gap between March and September when our new membership year began. So here are some year-to-date statistics for the WSDLC. This is current as of February 1st of this year. As I mentioned, we now have 206 districts and we're serving over 306,000 students. You can see that we have over 11,000 unique titles and over 31,000 copies of titles, and this includes both audio and ebooks. All of the information is on, I believe Sarah is sharing the digital dashboard link. We just got a new digital dashboard, which I'll talk a little bit later about, but it will show you that we have 1.3 million lifetime certs for this collection, and 271,000 of those are just since January. So it's really amazing the use that this is getting. I do want to point out that these statistics, along with title lists and full year statistics, very detailed statistics, are all available on the WSDLC website under the year-to-date statistics that I can see Sarah is showing. So I want to just pause for a second and see if there are any questions before we move on to where we are headed. Okay, I am not seeing anything, so I am just going to move on. Okay. Sorry about that. So our first update is that there is new pricing that will be going into effect September 1st of this year. The new pricing will be $1.55 per member, and this will be for both renewals and new members. The board did agree that this price will be valid for the next 2 membership years, so through or until September 2023. We are hoping that this will help all of the members' budget for the years ahead, rather than having to wonder if the price will increase next year, or I'm sorry, in the following year as well. This is a 3% increase, and it had the support of over 69% of the members surveyed. It's important to note that with this additional money, this will go directly into the collection. So it will bring approximately $168,000 more in additional collection funding. That's based on what our membership is currently now, and will provide close to 5,600 additional titles, and that's on top of any new memberships that we may have in September. So renewal pricing will be going out, I believe, Friday or Monday of this week if you are a current member, and this will help you budget if you are thinking of adding collections, or you have people in other districts that have been asking you about the WSDLC collections. We now have that pricing set, and we just need a few days to get all of the website information updated. So the next update that I'm super excited about is this checkout counter, and hopefully a few of you have been able to to take a look at this. It's not able to actually be put on Sora. It can't be embedded in Sora, but we do have it on the WSDLC website in a few pages, including the splash page. I have to say it's very mesmerizing. I liken it to the giraffe cam, the giraffe giving birth, or like the eagle cams. But it is truly amazing to watch things get checked out. And then another update is that we will be providing additional support for Advantage accounts and selecting. So Wills and Overdrive have begun the process of developing new training materials to help districts see the advantage of Advantage accounts. But not only that, to help to provide help with the account management and selecting, because I know it's sort of like, if you build it, they will come, but we do understand that many of you are managing multiple buildings, possibly across multiple districts, and that an Advantage account is something that you want to take advantage of, that you may have the funding for, but you certainly don't have the time to select. So coming over the next year, we will be providing some detailed materials to help you with selecting, to help you with curating. And also, you're always free to reach out to the Overdrive team for help right away if you don't, if you want to get started now. Okay. Here are some, I'm going to share a few updates that are specifically from Overdrive. One is the updated navigation on both the main pages and within content for Sora. Also, Sora, you may have noticed that there is more book information when browsing, including license and title counts, and then badges earned if you're using badges. And then I just want to remind people of the sunset of the Classic Overdrive app that will be happening in the next, in 2021. We're not sure of the exact date, but we will keep members posted. And then in response to member requests, Wills and Overdrive are enhancing the orientation and check-in process for new WSDLC members, and we'll be implementing 30, 60, and 90-day touch points for new members. We're hoping that this will help members who go live and then they're not sure what to do next. So rather than waiting 3 months or 6 months and then finding out that the district has not been able to log in or use the collections, Overdrive and Wills will be working together to reach out to new districts to see where we can help and make sure that those districts are engaging with the collections as soon as possible. And then finally, I was really excited about this. Overdrive acquired RB Digital, and with that acquisition came, I can't remember how many titles, but it's a lot. It's thousands of titles. And these titles are all, first of all, there are a ton of juvenile and YA titles, which is wonderful. Second of all, the lending model is 100 licenses that can be used concurrently. So for about the cost of like a one copy, one user title, or what people might call an owned copy, you can purchase 100 licenses that can be used simultaneously until they run out, and then they're repurchased. So that has, we've ordered for WSDLC as many titles as possible in this model, particularly because there are so many of them that are in audiobook format, which we know is highly sought after. So again, I want to pause. I know that was a lot of information. I'm seeing, let's see. we got two questions here. Okay, so is there any news with new government funding that might impact the buying power? That's a great question, Mackenzie, and that would be distributed through the Department of Instruction, and we have not heard yet. I literally just learned about that. I think it was yesterday or the day before, but I can tell you that Jen Chamberlain meets regularly with the Department of Instruction. I think her next meeting is tomorrow. So we will be asking about that, both for the public libraries and school libraries. So no news yet, but we're on it. And then Beth is asking about RB Digital magazines, and the answer is they currently offer magazines to public libraries, but not schools yet. They are coming, but we don't have a date for that. But that would be great to be able to read those right in Sora. Thanks for those questions. Okay, so let's move on here to the survey. So each year Wills offers a survey for WSDLC members, and there's always so much to unpack, and we will share all of the results at a later date as we sort of go through them and disseminate the answers. But we'd like to offer some highlights that that sort of stuck out to us right away. First of all, I want to thank the 83 members who responded. We were so pleased to receive such a high response rate out of 206 districts. Yahoo, that was wonderful. So thanks for taking the time to do that. The first highlight is that overall, we still have a 98% satisfaction rate with the collection, which is really quite incredible considering the tremendous strain that these collections were under over the last year. So we did, of course, ask questions about where people want to see more titles. And that sort of leads into highlight number 2, which is 84% of people surveyed believe that the collection should have more copies of popular titles. Right now, the collections are capped at 80 copies per title, and that is to prevent 1 or 2 or even 10 titles taking up the majority of the collection budget. So we cap it at 80 in the shared collection, and that what we do is sort of rely on Advantage accounts to purchase additional copies of the popular titles. So that said, I was very pleased to see that 64% of people surveyed are interested in investing more money in Advantage accounts to purchase popular titles. I believe it was like something like only 30% were interested in investing more money in the shared collection to, keep buying copies of popular titles at the shared level. And then, oops, sorry about that. 67% of respondents also explained or expressed, the need for more content for more diverse titles, which is very similar to what we heard last year as well. So even though we've added a tremendous amount of titles that I think reflect diverse experiences, we will continue to do so. And one of the things on the in the works for WSDLC for Wills and Overdrive to partner on is a diversity audit, which will be interesting. So we had some amazing suggestions for additional materials that that members would like to see. I picked out some of the ones that were that came up again and again. One suggestion was that people really like to do monthly reading promos, for example. So if we highlighted a theme every month in Sora, they were thinking that they could get more people to engage with the collections that way. Also, another theme that came up many times was shorter chapter books. So last year was all about the read-alongs, and this year people are asking for those chapter books for beginning readers that are just they're sort of graduating out of the beginning readers and into those short chapter books. There was also a call for a wider range of genres, so I think we'll have to dig a bit deeper into that. Of course, more audiobooks, particularly at the older, at the 9 through 12 grades, and then more bilingual books, books in Spanish and also ESL books. So I found that interesting and affirming. Okay. Few more highlights. Let's see. Oh, great news. Our training materials are getting noticed. So I can't remember what the stats were last year, but they were really low. It's like nobody had heard of the training materials. They weren't even aware of them. And we've moved up to 80% of respondents are aware of or have actually used the FAQs, which is awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. This was kind of surprising in the best way that 61% of respondents are aware or have had a one-on-one orientation with Overdrive, and 80% have attended an orientation for new members with Overdrive. Some comments that kept coming up about training the Overdrive staff is very helpful. Some people said, actually quite a few people said, you know, I was too busy to use these materials this year, but I will definitely do so in the future. And then I thought this one was interesting. Oops, I'm not sure how many times this came up, but somebody was asking for videos that we could actually share with students. So a lot of times, occasionally we will run into students that rather than previewing the book, they'll just check out the book and they'll hit their cap of checking out the books, and then the media specialist has to call us, we call Overdrive, they reset it. So I'm wondering if things like that were directed specifically to students, short videos might be helpful in media specialists sharing out how to use Sora in the collection. And then this made me so happy. So 88% of the members are marketing the WSDLC, and the breakdown was as such, and they could choose more than one, obviously, which is why this doesn't add up to 100. But 30% of the respondents are marketing to parents, 97% are marketing to students, 78% to staff, and 28% to administration. This is leaps and bounds above last year. And I love seeing the increase to staff and also to parents, and also to reaching out to the administration. Good news. Okay, so before I move on, are there any questions about the survey highlights? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Are we already to operational guidelines? Okay, we're zipping through. Okay, so here comes the voting part, and I believe that Sarah, oh, yep, she is sharing the document, excuse me, the draft of the changes, the proposed changes to the operational guidelines for 2021. I did send this out to the member list yesterday, but I just want to clarify or point out some the changes to sort of save you the time and the energy. The first change is that Wills is now the fiscal agent for the WSDLC. In the past, it was CISA purchasing. So that is a change that needs to be noted. Also, the board terms are clarified as 3-year terms. When the consortium started, we had staggered terms. So some of the board members were serving a 1-year term, some were serving 2, and some were serving 3. And this was designed so that everybody wasn't turning over. So we didn't have a fresh board, you know, every 3 years, which would have been detrimental. So, and then finally, there, for some reason, I feel like we discussed this last year, which was the no special election needed to fill a vacant seat. So in the past, the guidelines have said that when a board representative leaves the, goes to a different district, maybe outside of their CISA, the operational guidelines were requiring us to actually hold an election to fill that seat. And instead, we don't want to have, we want an appointment for somebody within that CISA to serve out that term. So if they're, you know, 2 years into a 3-year term, person would be appointed and be able to serve out that seat. It would make life for all of us much easier. So if there are, I want to ask if there are any questions or clarifications needed on these guidelines. I'm not seeing anything, so I would like then to entertain a motion to approve the 2021 draft operational guidelines. You could just type it in to the Q&A. I know that's not the most easy way to do it. Okay, we've got a motion from Peg. Thank you. Could I ask for a second, please? Thank you, Sarah. Any discussion? Okay, could you either turn on your camera and raise your hands and or type your answer in the Q&A? Okay, I'm seeing some, oops, I had my camera locked. Rebecca, does it look like people are in agreement? Oh, here they come. Oh, we have no cameras, I'm sorry. Okay, is anybody opposed? Probably should have asked that first. Okay, thank you. All right, that motion passes. We will go ahead and make those changes. The board had already looked at them and approved as is, so I appreciate it. And I'm sorry that's not the most intuitive way to do business, but it's what I got to do. Okay, we are almost, oh my gosh, we're at the the end. So, okay, we've arrived at the questions and sort of answer discussion part of the meeting. And I realize that this is difficult. Let me see if I can turn on the speaking parts. Oops, some people are muted, sorry. I'm just going through here in case anybody has. You have everybody? Okay, if you're
Sarah,
not.
I've also opened up the chat so people can use the actual chat now.
Oh, perfect. Okay, am I seeing, are we seeing anything in the? Oh man. I think we're good. Okay. I certainly don't want to cut anybody off, but I also understand that that's kind of an awkward way to do things. But I'm sharing the information that hopefully you all have. You're also free always to reach out directly to the Overdrive staff. But if you just want sort of a one-stop, feel free to email wsdlc-info@wills.org. That is monitored by several of us, and we will send things right on to Overdrive. And I want to thank each of you so much for participating and supporting the WSDLC, either as members, as volunteer board members, selection advisory committee members. You are what makes this what it is, and we're very excited for the prospect of additional funding for next year to work on driving these holds down and getting more materials in for your students and staff. So thanks so much. And also from all of us at Wills and Overdrive, thank you so much for your patience over the last many months. The influx of members created quite a workload for all of us, which we were very grateful for, but it did take time to process everything. So we appreciate your graciousness. With that, does anybody have anything? Sarah, Rebecca? Okay. I will say then that this meeting is adjourned, and thank you so much again for joining us today. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Sarah.